Good morning, everyone. I thought we would take a few minutes and talk about basic probability and the addition rule, which is probability where they have a problem that has or, one event or another event. So grab some paper and let's get started. So in your reading guide, we found that there were three different kinds of probability. Theoretical probability, where the probability does not change, like rolling a die, flipping a coin, guessing on a multiple choice test. We had experimental probability, which involves actual counts. What's the probability of getting a white car in the parking lot? Count all the total cars and then divide the number of white cars by the total. Actual counts. And subjective probability is an educated guess. What's the probability of getting stuck in the elevator? What's the probability that the next person walking out of the library is a female? What's the probability that the next president is from California? So, an educated guess. But let's start with theoretical probability. Given a six-sided die, what is the probability that we get a 3? Well, 1 out of 6. What's the probability that we get an even number? 3 out of 6 or a half. And the probability of a 7 is 0 because it's an impossible event. Okay, so we understand theoretical. Experimental probability, where we have actual counts, maybe we did a survey and asked people if they preferred dogs or cats or didn't have a preference. So the probability that someone would prefer a cat would just be cats out of the total, and then typically you will change your probabilities to a decimal answer if it's not a fraction that you already understand. Now this one would be okay either way. You could write it as 3/10 or you can write it as a decimal, and usually you'll use 3 decimal places. This chart is on page 310 in your book. It is a way of organizing your data. It's sort of a frequency table so we can keep up with everything. So this is for a class where we had males and females in the class, and they either made an A, a B, or a C. So we're going to look at the addition rule, the probability of one event or another, the probability of A or B. And A and B are just any event. It could be the probability of male or female, the probability of a burger or chicken, whatever. It's just a probability of two different events that we're adding together. But the cool thing about the addition rule is you can sort of do it in your head, or you can use a formula. And our formula would be the probability of the first event plus the second event minus the overlap. So let's start with some basic probability. The probability of a female, 26 over 65, and you'll change that to a decimal. The probability that someone has an A, change that to a decimal. The probability that they have an A or a B. These events are disjoint events. They're independent. One event cannot happen at the same time the other event does. So we will just add up all of the A's and then all of the B's, and you'll change that to a decimal. Okay. Last one, A or female. This does have an overlap. They're not independent. It is possible to both get an A and be female at the same time. So we would go through and add up our A's. We have 18 A's. Add in our females. We have 26 females. Okay. Oh dear. Okay, oops. 26 females, 18 A's. But you'll notice that there are 10 people that are both in the same row and that overlap the row and the column. So there are 10 people that are females that get an A. So we will go back and subtract subtract those. That's subtracting both. And you would go in, add those together, subtract your overlap. Whoops, I did 65. 18 plus 26 minus 10 is 34 over 65. And then you will change that to a decimal with 3 places. Okay, so that's basically how we do the addition rule and basic probability, and we'll talk about more next time. Have a good day.